Just a quick response to the many comments I'm getting on the wooden car project. Firstly, just to recap, I'm aiming for a lightweight vehicle that is pedalled so it can be legally driven on the roads. It will have an electric motor too that assists the driver, otherwise it would be just too much hard slog to get anywhere, no fun. So it will be just like a pedal assist bicycle except with 4 wheels. And it will have a limited speed, 24 kilometers an hour, so it shouldn't need any tax or insurance. Now, why don't I just go and buy such a vehicle? The answer is basically because they're crazy money, often costing 10,000 euros or more. And also because they pretty much don't exist here in Ireland yet. I've never seen one anyway. It could be because I don't get out much, but I don't think so. I really think we can design a wooden car that doesn't cost anything like that much to make, using off-the-shelf parts and a new design. I may be wrong, but it's working out so far. If the car turns out successfully, then perhaps we could sell the plans, maybe, so others could do the same thing. There may be some specialized parts, but not many. And perhaps we could supply those directly. Now, I think most people are getting the idea now. At first, many people suggest I use car parts, but of course they'd be way too heavy. Nowadays, I'm getting many suggestions to use go-kart parts instead, which is much closer to the idea. But no one locally sells them, so I'd be buying them from pictures on the net if I did that. And still, a go-kart really isn't quite the same thing. For a start, they have engines, so they're much heavier, and often they're made to go fast on rough tracks. So from my point of view, they're unnecessarily heavy and strong. They have steel frames and wide wheels, and of course you can't pedal them, and it's quite common for them to weigh 300 kilos, 600 pounds, more than 3 times what I'm aiming for. Now, that's not to say I don't like them, especially the ones called cycle cars. I'd never heard of them until recently, but they look great fun. Now, cycle cars are made with motorcycle engines and wheels, and they're shaped like early racing cars, and they go quite fast, but not on public roads. Well, I guess maybe in the US you might get insurance for them, but not here. I'll put a link in the description to a particularly lovely one from 1919 that features bobbin steering, just like my car will. Now, tell me you wouldn't want one of those. But as I say, I want to make something that I can drive to town in legally in the rain, post a letter maybe, put a bag of shopping in the boot, and then drive home again. Mine might not be as fast or as elegant as a cycle car or an engine-powered go-kart, but in a way, it will be more useful. And yes, of course, eventually, I'd like to design a 2-seater, or at least one with a child seat. But let's get the basic model up and running first. In the meantime, yes, you can copy what I'm doing, of course. Please do. And if you come up with a better way of doing something, just let me know. Every time you see a person sitting alone inside a huge car that weighs more than a ton and costs a year's salary, ask yourself, why? It's like driving around in a tank. That's not normal, people. Yes, they are comfortable and safe inside, but what about the cyclists you run into? But most of all, wouldn't those drivers be having much more fun in a little wooden pedal car?